morning, WCR. I'm gonna grab this because I like to be mobile.
I find Stacy probably to be one of the most inspiring women that I have recently met.
Because she really does have a very engaging story to tell that's very real and honest, and you know what, not a lot of people want to talk about, but people engage with that and connect with her because she's just so open and honest.
I've attended some of her other events and she is amazing. She is real. She is uplifting. She's a beautiful soul.
She is strong. She's empowering.
And she will make you cry and laugh all at the same time and will really fill your heart with some powerful inspiration.
She's a real person.
I find inspiration in her, and I think that as an older woman I can learn from her.
We would totally recommend her to anyone who's looking at having her come speak for them.
She's amazing and dynamic, and she really can reach out and connect to those that she's speaking with in a way that I haven't seen others before. So I'm excited to, just give her a big shout out. We love her at the Women's Council, and I hope that you'll soon experience that for yourself.
This is the power of story. How well do you know the people around you? Do you know that in this room of people, we all have these amazing, wonderful stories? And I know, because I know some of you personally, and I know some of the things that you have survived and gone through and overcome. Do you guys know that about each other? I promise you, find out something about your neighbor, and you will be amazed within this room how many wonderful, awesome people there are. So I started speaking in March this year. I was actually speaking to the Brigham Tree Mountain Board of Realtors, but I chose to talk about my story, which I call Failure to Finisher. So part of that story was that I shared when I got pregnant in high school and I gave a son up for adoption. Now, I had practiced this presentation, and one of my friends said, I don't think you should share that story with this particular audience because it will probably hurt your business. And I thought, I have to be true to the story. It's a big part of the story, and so I'm telling the story about how I gave a child up for adoption. And not only was it received well, but it opened up this connection in a way that never ever would have happened in a professional setting. I had realtors that came to me and said, we got pregnant when we were 15 and we just celebrated our 60th wedding anniversary. I never would have known that just by going and doing office visits. I had a woman come and tell me, thank you for being a birth mother, because I would not be a mom if it wasn't for another birth mother, because she had adopted 2 children. That never ever would have come up. And by sharing that story, it connected us. The birth father of my son was my high school sweetheart, and his name was Stacy. That was fun. So a few years after we had our son, we actually got married. We got married in 1997, and we were divorced by 1998. But then over the course of the next 10 years, we would still reconnect. And we were in different states, and I would fly and visit him, and he would fly and visit me. And one thing we had talked about doing all the time was going to the Grand Canyon. He always wanted to go to the Grand Canyon. We never ended up making it there. And then in 2009, I met my husband, and so I cut off all of my ties with my ex-husband. So I deleted him from my phone, I deleted him from my Facebook. But if you write something with a pencil and you erase it, is it completely gone? Absolutely not. There's always that imprint, right? So he had been a big part of my life for a lot of my life, so he was still imprinted on me. Well, I had not spoken to him since 2009 until last year when I found out that he was sick with cancer, and he was in the hospital. And as luck would have it, I was flying out to South Carolina to do a Trail Ragnar, because that's what I do. And so if you recall, this time in October last year, there was a little bit of a storm called Hurricane Matthew. And so Charleston was being evacuated, and I was the one idiot trying to fly into Charleston because I wanted to get to the hospital and see him. So I managed to make it. I found his hospital room. I went in and got to spend a few hours with him. And right before I left his room, he said, "Did you come here because you think I'm dying?" I'm like, no, I was just in the neighborhood. And he's like, "You must think I'm dying." I'm like, "No, you're gonna be fine. I just wanted to come by and say hi." So I do my race, I come back home, and over the course of last fall, we had a couple conversations, we were able to catch up. He told me he was proud of me, he told me about his chemo, he told me about fighting cancer, and I'm thinking this is good, he's gonna fight it, he's gonna be okay. So I texted him last Thanksgiving, and I didn't hear anything back, and I figure life is busy and he'll get to me when he can. And then I texted him again on Christmas Day, and I didn't hear from him. So then I reached out to our mutual friend and I said, can you please check on him? So she found out that he had had a massive stroke. He wasn't able to talk or communicate in any way, and his family was actually putting him on hospice care. So this was at the beginning of the year. On January 7th, I went to a salon. I was getting ready to chop off 10 inches of my hair to donate to children with hair loss. So I was donating my hair to kids with cancer. And as I sat in that chair at the salon, my friend Emily sent me a text and she said, he's gone. I looked at my phone later that day. I had Charleston and Ogden, I had the weather on my app, and Charleston and Ogden were both 28 degrees. I grew up in Charleston, and I can tell you it's never been 28 degrees in Charleston, but on the day he passed, it was the same temperature where I was and where he was. This October, I did a race called the Grand Circle Trail Fest, and it consisted of 3 runs. After we finished our run at the Grand Canyon, we went back to our camp at Kanab, we packed up our truck, and we jumped in my friend Kyle's truck, and we were heading back to Ogden. I got on my Facebook, and you know, Facebook does your little memories. And my memory from exactly 1 year ago, on that exact day, was when I was at the hospital with him, and I saw him for the last time. Exactly 1 year later, and I was at the Grand Canyon, where he had always wanted to take me. Do you believe that you are exactly where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there? Trust the universe. I had no idea when he passed that it would change the entire trajectory of my life. But it has caused me to look, and what am I doing? Am I fulfilling my purpose? Because our time here is so very, very short. His death is in part the reason I'm up here today, because I've discovered this is what I love doing. This is what I want to start doing. And I'm trusting the universe.